Welcome everybody to the fourth and potentially final match in this best of 5 King of the Hill series between WhiteRa spawning as the blue Protoss down in the bottom left position against DIMAGA, the red Zerg, over in the bottom right here on GSL Crevasse. Now, DIMAGA did pick this map, and I'm thinking because he does like opening up with that early hatch that we saw in the previous games, going hatch first, sometimes spawning pool then hatch. But the fact that it is so easy to defend against land units, this expansion right here, the only entrance is this one ramp, then I think it's going to kind of mesh well with DIMAGA's style of play. The one thing he's going to have to watch out for is WhiteRa. So far, he has shown that he does indeed enjoy getting those air units. We saw in game number 3 the heavy use of Phoenix and WhiteRa, and of course with the fact that DIMAGA's expansion right here will actually be pushing closer to WhiteRa's base in comparison to, say, this one, WhiteRa's natural expansion, which actually pushes them kind of away from the Zerg there. So, DIMAGA is going to have to keep that in mind going into this game here. But I think both players have an excellent chance of winning. You know, WhiteRa, he's ahead 2-1 right now. He does have a commanding lead. So, like I said, if he's able to take this game, call it good in WhiteRa's favor, and that'll be it. We'll wait and see exactly what kind of strategies both of them kind of choose to employ. Keep in mind, though, this is a fairly wide open map. You could see a couple choke points or at the ramps, but as far as the middle, very wide open. The natural, not the natural expansion, the real natural expansion out here with the full complement of minerals and geysers, very, very wide open. You can see you can get a concave right there while defending that ramp, so that might work out pretty well for DIMAGA. And likewise, same thing over here for WhiteRa as well. DIMAGA does have the Overlord Scout going to come up here and spot that, okay, gateway first, good stuff. And he should also be able to head up to that natural expansion and kind of see if his opponent, you know, is he going to be getting that expansion, or is he going to be opening up with a little bit more of a traditional build. He's going to spot that cybernetics core, the timing of it, and he's going to know, okay, don't even need to go up there. I know there's no expansion, so just keep sending it on its merry way and profit. So the hatchery about 60% complete. You can see about the same for the spawning pool as well. Neither player, okay, there's the Protoss. So DIMAGA hasn't actually sent out a drone yet. I mean, really, why would he at this point? He knows where his opponent is with that first Overlord. He knows what he's doing, so no real need to hurt the economy like that. You see DIMAGA going ahead, dropping that extractor. I think if you're going to take one early, this is definitely the one to get, mainly because when you get gas from this one, it actually gives you 6 instead of 4 per return. So you're going to see him kind of catch up pretty quickly there. WhiteRa running on 2 gas right now. Of course, Zerg spots that as his Overlord continues heading on, and there goes a pylon. Maybe WhiteRa is going to be taking this in a little while here. I don't know. He's got the one Stalker, though. I think this Overlord is going to be able to make it to safety in plenty of time before WhiteRa is able to take that out. Of course, if he had lost that, wouldn't have been too big of a deal, but still, definitely not something you want to have happen ever early on in the match series. A couple of Zerglings going to get map control here. There are 4 watchtowers in the middle of the map. We can see WhiteRa is actually controlling the one. This one, I would say, is pretty important for scouting out what's coming from WhiteRa there, as you can actually just spot the Stalker coming over and checking out the 3 o'clock watchtower. Good stuff, and as he continues to actually get some Zerglings here after droning up for a little bit. Metabolic boost about 25% complete. Very important upgrade here in the early game, as it's a pretty decent distance. Even though they're not cross positions, the speed will definitely be a factor here. And here comes WhiteRa. Like I mentioned before, he is very good with that early micro. So, oh man, Zerglings on the creep. Will they catch up in time? No! With these units are actually the exact same speed. 2.95 to 2.95. So this Stalker, I believe, will make it back to base. Considering the fact that metabolic boost, it's still got about 30 seconds or so. So it should be just fine. Now WhiteRa over here, he's going Twilight Council, Dark Shrine. Now, this is actually a very interesting build, but one that I'm kind of curious if it's going to work or not. I say that in particular because so far we've seen that WhiteRa does kind of actually favor the airplay. You know, when you're scouting out the Zerg going into the mid game, you can either research hallucinations, scout out the Phoenix, or you can get a couple Stargates and actually do some real harassment. WhiteRa so far has shown he does indeed enjoy the latter of the two. So DIMAGA, you know, I think WhiteRa has kind of trained DIMAGA to make some anti-air, some spore crawlers, which happen to double as detectors. So going DTs when your opponent is expecting air might not work so well. We actually spot a Spore Crawler going down right here. That's exactly what I'm talking about right there. He did have that evolution chamber for a little while now. A few Zerglings running around, as well as the creep is continuing to spread here. And look at this, 2 Dark Templar Zerglings in play. I believe these will get chomped up. Here is a Overseer. Did I hear it? Yes, right there. Is on the way. As a little bit of lag there. Alright, that's fixed. Good stuff. And yep, the Spore Crawler has popped. A couple of Zerglings maybe going to try to pick up the shields a little bit. Not going to happen though. The Queens are a little bit more well equipped to tank some of that damage. And with that Spore Crawler gone, not really going to matter. The Overseer's here, so it's just a matter of time, folks. We have plenty of Zerglings able to dispatch this attack relatively quickly. So WhiteRa, yeah, you know, I think he did a really good job of executing that. But I think just DIMAGA kind of has an idea that, you know, getting some anti-air, pretty good defense overall, and of course detection up there, good stuff as well. I don't think he actually saw the DT. No, this is what he's actually seen so far. DIMAGA, that is. So he knows the expansion there, and that's about it. Pretty good game sense though, having that Spore Crawler up front like that. So Changeling going to hopefully come over to infiltrate the Protoss base. Looking at it right now, you can spot, he'll see 4 gateways. He'll see the DT Shrine, you know, pretty much everything that he just assumes is there already. But look at this, man. DIMAGA coming over with a few mutas, about 6 or so. Yep, sure enough. And WhiteRa's defenses against anti-air, not so much. Not so much. You see, he's got 1 Stalker, 3 Sentries, certainly not enough to really help fend this off. The Guardian Shield will be crucial, and that it really does negate a lot of that damage from the bouncing glaives from the mutas. It's oh so important, but you've still got to have some extra anti-units. Yes, very good. Now WhiteRa has a couple Stalkers here that will help out a lot. As you see, that delayed mining time is not something you want to have happen. Losing the probes, you see him going down here, as initially WhiteRa was just a tiny bit ahead in terms of the workers, but now 36 to 35, slightly behind compared to his opponent. Few Zerglings coming in here as well. As the mutas continue to harass the worker line, you can actually just spot and see exactly how many he's taken out right now. 9 to 0. As the Protoss player just hangs out back here. I think that's a good call. Guardian Shield has been hit. So WhiteRa is actually coming back here trying to engage while that Guardian Shield is still there. He doesn't want that energy to go to waste. Oh, 1 muta does get taken out. I think another one there is pretty low in hit points. Yeah, he's sitting around 2/3 or so. Many Zerglings are down in the bottom of the ramp, though. And you see DIMAGA up here with the Changeling. He spots these right here. And ooh, opportunity. Gonna see these run in right here. No force fields have gone down. It is too late, folks. The Zerglings are here. The mutas are able to do so much splash damage to the Zealots. Bouncing damage, should I say. And with the Zerglings here, they add some much-needed damage absorption / firepower to the Zerg army, which is going to allow him to force a GG from WhiteRa, taking game number 4. So we're back to 2-2, folks. Let's go on to game number 5 and see how this ends.